Hello and welcome to your program. This is SOUQ Pulse and this is SOUQ News. You know where we are, you know where we start, and you know what the pay line is. Hey, don't keep quiet. It doesn't matter where it is, what is happening, where you are, what business you're seeking, the one you've lost, the one you are likely to profit from, what your country is saying, what is not saying, what policies are saying. We can go on and on, but no matter what the underlying factors are, we say keep talking. My name is Chuks, John Rogers Chuks. Today we will dive into something that has held Nigerians by the neck. It's squeezing. If they are fighting back, we'll get to know. But we have a guest that will also be part and talk about this issue today. Remember, we tell you this tagline, hey, we need to get productive. Every one of us. It's a race. Others are running. Africa must also run. At least if we can't bring something to the market, let's contribute to the services happening in the market. At least. We'll go on a very short break. And SOUQ Pulse will be right back. Remember, call up your friends. Let's join this conversation. If it affects you, it affects every other person. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. Today on SOUQ Pulse, we are looking at this particular issue. It's there. It's in your face. It has gone beyond your face. It's draining your pocket. I think it has even gone deep down your pocket. You see it every day on the faces of people. Those talking, those not talking. Those willing to accept it, those not willing to accept it. Even businesses. How are we looking at? We're looking at the pump price magic. The Nigeria fuel pump price magic. That is what we are calling it today, and we are asking ourselves exactly, is it good for business? Who is benefiting? Everybody in one way or the other is feeling it. You will say, okay, the rich man is not feeling it much because he has more capital. Are you sure? What about his businesses? Now, to do justice to this particular topic today is no other but someone that has been on SOUQ Pulse once. This is his second time, and he's an industry player. We'll go to the industry. We'll go to things surrounding the industry. We'll also look at the players, then the person that is buying, then the businesses. Then we'll ask some questions that you also want to ask, or questions you are scared of asking. Let me give you those good pauses so you analyze and think about it. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, join me as I welcome to SOUQ Pulse for today Engr Igbini Odafe Emmanuel. He is an industry player for a very long time, and I like calling him this. He is very passionate to see Africa and Nigeria develop, so I call him a development expert. Engineer Odafe, you're welcome to SOUQ Pulse. And welcome. Now, we are asking ourselves, hey, our pump price will wake up one morning from 180, it jumps to 600 and something. That is for those within areas where there is a good form of regulation. For those outside Lagos, Abuja, it went to they've been buying over 700 for a very long time, 1,000. Now it has jumped from that same 600 and something to 850. That is some news from NNPC, someplace 1,000 plus. That is if you see. We're not talking about the queues and all that, which we all hate. Now, let's ask ourselves this particular question. There's this particular line that keep coming up each time this issue crops up, and people say international price, international price. Should that narrative be something that should hold water? Should we price our fuel, be it AGO, be it PMS, be it any one of them, based on international price? Let's start attacking this particular narrative, no matter where it's coming from. Should we be pricing our product based on international price?
No. Simple answer, no. Very interesting.
I can hear you, but can you hear me well now? Give me a nod or give me a wave if you can hear me. the second part I'm looking at now, good. If people say international price, it's what's happening globally. It's the global price of crude. So why should Nigeria be left out? Let's price our crude and the product that come off it from the price that other nations price theirs.
Sorry, I lost you.
Then I
I can't
ask
hear
this
you.
simple question. What about minimum wage? Can we also put minimum wage side by side with the price of the countries that these excuses are given? Price your fuel according to what's being sold in other African countries. Okay, good and fine. Price minimum wage according to what is also obtainable elsewhere. Those kind of narrative, should it continue, or should we be able to look at ourselves as Nigerians and speak some honesty to ourselves? Can you hear me now, Engineer Odafe? Welcome. Now, I was asking, for that particular narrative you said a no to, that we shouldn't price our product, our petroleum product, based on international price. Subsidy has played a very good and strong role in bringing down these prices. What exactly is this subsidy regime that everybody keeps hammering on, as if it is one particular antidote that is going to save every government or the cure to every failed government? Why is everybody hammering on subsidy?
My brother, the number of times that you ask me this question on anybody ask me about subsidy, my simple answer remains, it never existed any day. It's just an unpatriotic, massive fraud perpetrated for a very long time by a very select Nigerian, privileged to be in certain positions of authority in this country. They didn't start today. So please, subsidy has nothing to do with what we are facing. It never existed. It was a fraud ab initio, and that is why I insist that the best thing that has happened to Nigerians is to put an end to that scam. And that is where I appreciate President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for having that courage to make it clear and declare it that same day, May 29th, last year, the day he was taking an oath of office to be president of Nigeria. I've been clamoring for this for a very long time, even before this democracy under the military, for over 25 years. But nobody bothered to listen to me. And those who listen say, this is difficult to, it's a no-go area. People are benefiting from it and so on. They're very powerful. In fact, I was even thinking that...
we look at those that are powerful. I really want you to open up on this. If you say we have never had, in the real sense of it, a subsidy regime, then we now get to ask, we have an NNPC who have turned NNPCL, and they have been paying subsidy. So that means we've been having subsequent year after year government agencies committing crime.
Subsidy to who? Subsidy to who did they pay? They should mention the name of such persons.
But the names, the companies are
See,
there.
my brother. Which company?
This particular product outside this country are there. So is it more, are you saying that this is a group of people that have been paying something to themselves? Is that what you're saying?
What do you want me to say? Have you not heard before? It's not in the papers. We're in this country when even the National Assembly, under the then the most respected Speaker of the House of Representatives, and even the President of the Senate, or Kadibu, may their souls rest in peace, they conducted what? Investigative hearing, a thorough one, and the verdict was clear. If everybody knew that this thing was a monumental fraud, it never existed. Please, can you cast your mind back to the interview President Buhari, granted one of the leading electronic media houses? He also came out and admitted the fact that, yes, this is a fraud, but the only thing is that he does not want to put an end to it under his leadership. Otherwise, Nigerians, according to him, will what? Storm Aso Villa and chase him out. And so for that reason, he decided to push that burden to whoever will take over from him. It's in the media now. Please go and Google it. Maybe you won't want me
Hold
to
on.
mention the
We
name
really
of
need to pick your
media.
thoughts on this, because today we are not shying away from shaking those particular tables.
Okay.
If we need to get a bulldozer to move the tables, we will definitely move those tables. Now, from your words, you've said subsidy is a scam. Subsidy is, if it's a scam, then it's corruption. Then if it's a corruption, it's a crime. Now, let's look at it from this angle. This importation happened. Petroleum product was imported outside this nation and brought in here at a cost they told us. Then this particular product at that cost was sold at a price lesser than what they told us, which means somebody somewhere has to augment for the difference in that price, which they called subsidy, which is on the papers, be it government policy papers, be it government other official papers. At what point are we saying the difference that was paid is a crime or a scam? Or at what point are we saying the numbers does not tally? If his numbers not tallying, then we'll now start asking questions. Where are those numbers not tallying coming from? But if we say the entire process is a scam, I think we need to be enlightened more.
It's a scam. The entire process is a scam. Did I bend my mouth saying it?
Hold that and put a full asterisk on it. Quote from our guest. Now, we'll hold on to that. Now, let's keep going. Now, over time, we have seen the amount, I won't call it the amount, the humongous amount of money that has been spent on subsidy. Well over 72 billion that has been spent on subsidy up to 2021. That is well enough to take care of 25% of the entire infrastructure need of this nation. If that is a scam, why is the country not shouting? Why is no one being held accountable? Why are people not in jail as we speak?
No, it is not fair to say that no one is shouting. Nigerians have been shouting. I told you this thing didn't start under this democracy. Okay, it's been long, and we've been shouting, shouting and shouting and shouting, and you even saw recently, but was not last month, the National Assembly hurriedly put up a joint ad hoc committee, what they call investigative hearing committee, of the House of Rep and Senate, and invited the leadership of NPRC, NNTPRA, the same NNPCL, and Dangote management, the rest of them. And what came out of it? What came out? Who did they invite? They don't invite the same people that Nigerians believe are neck deep in this unfortunate, thing to our country. And you expect them. In fact, I even commended, when I watched, I saw that even the group CEO of the so-called NNPCL, Mele coming out to say that he will want a live transmission of the investigative hearings for the whole world to hear. I don't know if they actually granted that opportunity. So suddenly you begin to see things like that. So it's not true that Nigerians are not be shouting. It's not true. Even the President Tinubu, when he was not yet our president, of course, we all know that he led a mass protests, to challenge, to also insist that this thing called for fuel subsidies is scam. That was under Jonathan. Have we forgotten? So it's not correct that we have not been shouting. We have.
You still hold on to your side of the divide that subsidies is scam. Let's progress. We
It
will
is.
definitely look at that. Now, let's look at the role being played by, devaluation of the naira, inflation, and our pump price. Right now, NNPC came to say and put up a statement. We'll also be going there. But now let's look at the price itself. As we speak, pumps, if you get to see the fuel, are selling over 850. In some areas, they're buying 1,001, 1,002. Does devaluation and
We buy for
inflation have anything to do
1,000.
with this?
Did you hear me?
Come again, please.
In Warri, last week, we bought 1,002 from the filling station.
Devaluation or inflation have anything to do with this pump price?
No. For the first case, you have no business. I mean, Nigeria has no business importing petroleum product. We have no business at all. So when we keep talking about, oh, the exchange rate is affecting, I mean, why are we not ashamed of ourselves? An oil producing country, not just an oil producing country, one of the largest oil producing nations of the world, producing the best quality of crude oil. What business do we have talking about importing fuel and then bothering ourselves about exchange rate of dollar to naira? What's the meaning of that? We have no business.
We have no business.
And that is what costs me.
You know, I like your stance. It's not left for people to talk and choose a side, because it's always good when you're coming to a fight, you have a stand and you've chosen your side. Now, let's talk about what has transpired in the last 3 days. NNPCL, for those that are wondering where the L came from, NNPCL came up some days ago and declared that they have come up with a new pricing after consulting and lifting fuel from Dangote refinery. Dangote yesterday came up with another statement, that is the organization, and said, no, we did not go into that form of direct agreement and nothing has been lifted from our refinery. So the pricing is not from us. At this point, between NNPC and Dangote, who should we believe?
Believe either party at your own risk. I don't believe any of them. I've told you. That has been our position. They know what they are doing. They are playing their own games, but we are not fools. Nigerians are not fools. So all this back and forth that they are doing, okay, they are just entertaining themselves.
If we say we are not going to believe any of them, but we are stuck with NNPC, which happens to be the sole determinant of what happens in this industry. At what point in time should we start calling them out?
Since yesterday, if there's anything like that. Look.
Since yesterday now. Okay, let's also look at it from this aspect. If NNPC, who happens to be, recently, for now, they have the yam and the knife. And they are saying pump price for PMX 850. I believe that is if you get to pump stations operated by them. I'm just asking this question off my childish brain. If Dangote refinery and any other local refinery, be it the modular ones, are supplied crude, not from with international rate, whatever way they want to measure it, whatever means they want to get it done, and they produce PMX and other products, do you think it can crash the prices we get at the pumps?
These guys have made up their mind to deal ruthlessly with Nigerians. I repeat, hear me well. They have long made up their minds to deal ruthlessly with innocent Nigerians. We have not done them any wrong. For crying out loud, if you want to set up your own private refinery, I am not against it. Find your market outside Nigeria. I beg you. Sell your crude, buy your crude and sell your product outside Nigeria. But for us in Nigeria, we have 4 refineries.
What happens to me? What happens to you? I don't know, maybe you have a private refinery. What happens to the ordinary Nigerian? Are we not supposed to be covered in our own country?
Look, we don't need any private refinery for crying out loud. For us to have
do we have a functioning refinery?
Yes, we have 4. Or call it 3. But I got this 2 in 1. We have Warri. We have Kaduna. Look, my brother, I'm not joking. I am not just coming on television to talk. I am a key player. I work in the heart of the petroleum sector. I'm talking to you now from Warri. From my house upstairs, I can see Warri refinery. I come from oil producing states. Okay? I'm not coming to entertain anybody. What is going on, it is terrible. You talked about NNPC having a yam and a what? Knife. Who's yam? Who's yam?
They
Have you
call the
taken pain
shots, don't they?
They cannot call the shot. And this is why in the latest interview I granted one of the daily newspaper, the heading they captioned it was PIA is a landmine, okay, planted to frustrate any patriotic president. It could be you. That PIA is disastrous. And this is where I call out the National Assembly. They should repeat that act immediately. You see, we are joking. After this program, please go to PIA, that act, read section 64, and see the kind of thing, the kind of power they gave to the so-called NNPC they say they created from NNPC. And then certain person, the president, former president, decided to appoint people to say these are board members. This are how you took the entire resources of our country and gave to just very few persons who are board members and managing staff of the NNPCL. Who does that? Who does that?
Before we get to that question, because we are heading there right now, I want to ask you this particular one. How private is the Dangote refinery?
It's a private entity, although we heard that, during the Mefede's time, he was always going there. I was wondering what the Syrian government business is, with the private sector. And he kept shuttling, and then even the National Assembly, all of them were going to Dangote refinery. Oh, this is the game changers. Wait a minute, how do you mean? When we have 4 refineries, you are talking about game changer. The next they say they are funding, they are also participating in the board shares. I raised an alarm. What business do you have in Dangote refinery? Leave the man to do his business, I beg you. Wherever he wants to source crude oil from, it is his own business. If he wants to buy from Nigeria and we have enough to give him, we say to him at the normal rate that we need to sell to any other person. If he wants to go to US, Venezuela, he's free to go. What's our business? Why should you tie my future to
if we follow that chain of thought, let's go back to what you talked about on NNPC. Now, they are, I will call them the Lone Ranger, and they are determining every single policy happening around. Please permit me to pick your brain. How healthy is this? Who are they accountable to?
NNPCL. Good question. They are accountable to themselves. Yeah, my brother, if you read that and you understand it, you'll be weeping for this country.
Okay, if they are accountable to themselves,
let's go back to NNPC also come and declare
without the L
whatever
for now.
Profit. Yes, beautiful. God bless you. That is where we should go back to. Go back to NNPC. Remove that L. That L created
is it just a case of an L? Okay. Now,
yes, so
we still see continuous capital spending on the 4 refineries with no production. Why? And why is no one being held accountable? Why is nobody being sacked? We hear news is going to function last year, November, October, then September, then December. We hear the same news this year, April, then last month, now this month. And every of this is a statement from the same NNPC that has the L. Why?
Ask me now. You see? You see what I said in this last interview? I said the Renew Hope agenda of President Tinubu is dead on arrival as long as this PIA exists and remains, and then the powers given by it to NNPCL is not repealed immediately. That Renew Hope agenda is dead on arrival. Quote me. And what is even more disturbing, apart from the economic and financial implication and all that we all feel it now, in fact, everything is almost hopeless. What about the continued war against terror that Nigerians, men and women, officers and men, risking their life every day against these bloodletting terrorists? Do you know the implication? My brother, do you know what the role of oil, petroleum product and petroleum itself played in the World War I and II, even in the invasion of US invasion of Iraq, and even the ongoing war between Russia and Ukraine? Hey, we are joking. We are joking.
Why we look
We're
at that
talking
and
about the
say
national security of this country.
and
You
come
are playing with it,
back to some
and you say
goodness,
nobody can
because
arrest you.
all is not lost. Here we always look for solutions. If you say the Petroleum Industry Act is defective, from what angle should we start looking at it? Are you saying complete repeal, or are you saying let's take it back to the table and rework it, or are you saying that document, that policy should be thrown to the trash? Where are you coming from?
See, go back to where we were before, which means repeal the entire act. Repeal it. I say repeal it. Go back to NAPC, go back to DPR, go back to where we were before.
Of NMPC without the L, at the point of DPR, at the point of every one of them, the refineries were still not working.
Sorry?
So what? Okay, NMPC, thank you very much. Your days are numbered. It has come to an end. Let somebody else come in, or let everybody come in and play what they can play. We had the telecommunication sector, if you remember.
It's not just having somebody.
The first ones that had a yellow, when they came, their price was skyrocketing to high heavens, and they were charging per minute. Other players came in and crashed it down, to the extent that those that bought SIM card for 25, 50,000 naira, at a point they were dashing people's SIM cards. Should we do the same thing in this sector?
No. Don't mix the two, please. The petroleum sector is not telecom sector. No. That's a mistake. Most of my head will try to make that comparison. No, there's no comparison, please. It's not.
So that is holding an entire nation down. This sector, if it works, this nation will work faster.
Of course.
Where
this is the heart
are
of
we
nation.
missing it? If we say, okay, the Petroleum Industry Act is defective, we have to repeal it. Or it's still the same NMPC that was there before the act came. So what do we do?
No, you see, my brother, I'm surprised that the likes of General Yakubu Gowon had not spoken. You know, he was the then military head of state when Nigeria joined OPEC in 1971, just after the Civil War. And they would have asked him, why did you take Nigeria to OPEC? What are the advantages of being member of OPEC? Go and see Saudi Arabia, UAE, just the member nations, and you see how prosperity is shining, booming. How many private companies are in Saudi Arabia owning refineries, owning rich oil wells? You are joking with this country. You see, the way we just dole out rich oil blocks to individuals, one day they will sit down over a bottle or some bottle of beer and decide to remove a president. I am telling you, you don't know, I can't be a president and allow that. If they want to undermine this nation, it is. Over a bottle of beer, they say, guy, let us move that man. Because they have the money, oil money. You don't toy with it. So when they begin to give individuals, every day I hear NPRC awarding a license to individuals for oil feed. How do you do that? How? In a country that is still developing, in a country where the level of patriotism is so low, you give the future of our country to few persons and you think you are a president. Now they are running over the place now saying that Sowore and the rest of them are plotting what? Plotting coup. They should look in the petroleum sector. It is disastrous. Do you know the Americans were able to disorganize the then Soviet Union using what? Economic what? Coup. They didn't use military. I hope you know. To grant this country now is simply for the private sector who are now in charge of the petroleum sector. If you allow Dangote can wake up one day, if he's the one that everybody is hoping. What if he decides to wake up and say, please just shut down my plant? I don't want to produce for the next 2 weeks. Will you force him? It's not his property. Will you force him?
That is another serious food food for thought, a very serious one. But while we'll take a nip on that, let's go on this very short break. SOUQ Pulse will be right back. Don't go anywhere. Remember, this is where we talk. We'll be right back. News. We are looking at the magic of the Nigerian fuel pump price, because that is what it is. You wake up one morning and the prices are different. If you see the product, then we are asking ourselves, how can we stop this magic? Or how can we take this magic and turn it to an advantage? We have Engineer Igbini Odafe, and he's been here giving us his side. I'll put it directly. His side, which we need to also explore and ask ourselves some direct questions. He's giving several assignments, which I will definitely look it up. But we are seeking solutions. We don't dwell on the problem. We seek solutions. And moving forward, Engineer Odafe, welcome back to SOUQ Pulse. Let's look at this side of it. Now we have talked about the refineries, we've talked about owners of the refineries, we've talked about NNPC, we've talked a little bit about Dangote. Now let's talk about every other person. People that in this equation, they have the numbers, but people don't talk about them. The everyday people whose businesses depend on the cost of the product coming out of these pumps. Are we in any chance, in the slightest of it, considered in any of these policies?
Not at all. They don't care about you. They don't care about me. They don't care about the 200 million Nigerians. They care just about themselves. You know that aware that in this country, a few years ago, a certain group managing director of the same NNPC was reported to have made millions of dollars. Was found somewhere in his farm, somewhere in the north. How many are you going to say? Talk about? They don't care about you. They don't. You know, and yet we own the resources.
Okay. Now let's look at the businesses. No matter how successful NNPC is, NNPC cannot do better than all the businesses in this country put together. NNPC cannot employ 10% of Nigerians. NNPC cannot support the neighboring countries. It has to take the collective work businesses, no matter how small, of every other person. How have Nigerian businesses fared with these ballooning pump prices?
You know, you can go around and say, businesses have all collapsed. Majority, this is not exaggerating it, businesses have collapsed. In Warri here, the only place we have is what you call the Delta Mall, where you have the ShopRite and some few other ones. About 2 weeks ago, when I came from Abuja and I said, okay, let me just go and pick. I was expecting to see the usual crowd. Anyway, it was empty, and I was almost, I'm telling you the truth, I'm not exaggerating. I didn't see up to 10 persons. In the whole of that mall, when you go in there, you see a minimum of 200 people are crowded, even with the ACs, everywhere is hot. I was not tempted to ask one of the staff, I said, oh, I hope all is well. He said, your girl is well. I said, why you ask? I said, what's happening now? There are no associates. People can't go there anymore. Families who normally will go there, buy some few things, maybe take the children out just for fun, because that's the only place we have in the Royal City of Warri today, fortunately. They can no longer afford. Now you go to the market, where you normally will buy like a cereal biscuit for your children. You say, hold on first, so we arrange it for something else. So all those things have now become luxury. In Warri, we say as with mouth. So that is how you, in fact, is it generator repairer? Is it the salon young men? People don't go there to cut their hair anymore. In fact, when you go to the hotel, okay, come with your own clipper. The clipper that is battery powered. Say because they cannot put on their gel, they cannot afford to buy, the fuel. So what these people don't know is that they are themselves, by their greed, they are collapsing the economy of this country, and then making the mass of Nigerians, hopeless. And so when they have their own businesses, why would all those international companies who are into one of these businesses, why would they not splash up? Who is buying again? I've just told the story of data where you have the popular ShopRite here in Warri. I won't be surprised they wake up one day and say, no business again. Where will the business come from? I don't go there anymore. Where's the money? So the same thing with everybody. So it's the situation all over the country. You go to hotels now. Who goes to hotel? To do what? So only those few who even steal and do all those manner of things against the majority of Nigerians. They don't even buy all those things we buy. Some of them, when you go, if you are very close to them, you see them when they are taking their lunch, you don't even eat good food. They'll just be there gisting and talking of how they're going to make money over some imported bottle of wine, and then they go. So
Are we capable of managing this oil sector?
And that is the situation we find ourselves.
These are some direct questions we need to start asking ourselves.
Sorry?
Are we capable of managing this oil sector?
Are we? The line is breaking.
We capable of managing the oil sector?
Why? Please. That's why I say go back to the days of NNPC. In fact, we started with Nigerian National Oil Company, then before I changed to NNPC. Go back to those good days. The NNPC is so well structured. I am telling you the truth. In line with the OPEC clear agenda for member nations to maximize their own share of the God-given resources. NNPC is well structured everywhere. Each other somewhere along the line, corruption crept in, and those who have the authority to deal with those few persons who were perpetrating this unpatriotic corruption against the nation did not do anything. Instead, they decided, okay, GDM, make sure that you get something, same amount to me. That's how we got to this thing. It is corruption that was the issue with NNPC. I told NNPC, the IOCs are even worse. Corruption in the IOCs are worse. I am telling you, and that's where I come from. So
if we say corruption is the problem, then why are we complaining? Because we are the ones that are corrupt. Then corruption, if it's okay, once we operate and remove this corruption, then we don't have an issue. How can we deal with the corruption?
It's simple, very simple. I have been a crusader against corruption for many years. In fact, we fought for the creation of or the establishment of anti-corruption agency. We started with ICPC, and because ICPC chairman was his own style, was different. He had to follow the rule of law. That was a more aggressive one, establish EFCC, But I have come to realize that we need to change our modus operandi in this war of corruption. So I have changed to say, rather than fighting the war, let's manage corruption. And then also I came up with what people find so surprised to hear me say. And I said, it is patriotic corruption. Patriotic corruption, because corruption is everywhere. In fact, my brother, when you hear that your crude oil is just stolen, do they sell this crude oil in Pesu Market or main market in Warri here, or Japa Junction, or in Lagos, Eko Market? No. This crude oil stolen from here, I ship to United States, UK, European countries. And why would those country governments who accuse us every now and then that we are very, very corrupt, why do they allow this stolen crude into their country? They need it because they want to stabilize their own economy and make sure that their people get this same petroleum product at a very cheap rate so that there's no crisis. See, I hope you know that the price of fuel in the US is a major determinant factor in any major US presidential election. Are you aware? So they encourage this crude oil to be stolen from your country.
While you were talking about the corruption and looking at other people, it's all about interest when it comes to nations. We don't get that memo we don't get that gist in Africa yet. Now, let's look at it. You gave an example of OPEC nations that were doing well. You called Saudi Arabia. But you know very well that if you commit this kind of crime when it comes to stealing property, government property, embezzlement, you're likely going to lose a leg or an arm or your head, literally.
Yes. Yeah, that is patriotic corruption.
Good and fine, sorry. Even your RIP, nobody will know about it. Why are we not emulating in that effect when it comes to Nigeria? Why do we smile and say, okay, he's our brother, he's our sister? community will come and celebrate you.
It's because,
And we are still here shouting
it's because
corruption.
It's because we don't understand global politics. World Bank, that is number one capital of corruption. This is not what I said. James Wilkerson, one-time world president, said when he came, he wanted to deal with corruption in World Bank, and he was immediately advised not to go near the letter C, corruption. You see, since the emergence of the New World Order, there's no more morality in that United Nations or whatever you call, called. It is every nation to itself. So if you are not smart, sorry. It's as simple. Let me shock you. When Obasanjo became president, I remember in year 2001, he visited United States. Then Clinton was president. And then, he went to say, all the stolen words by Abacha and co. They are in America. Please repatriate them to our country so make use of them. You know what Bill Clinton told him? He said, as the president of America, I have no power to direct the banks in America to repatriate those stolen funds. And that's how till today, you won't find it. You can't go to Saudi Arabia as a citizen and then you go and steal against the interests of that country. What about China? Will you try it in China? But yet you see the Chinese coming to Africa, coming to Nigeria and steal from us. Yet the same Chinese president or government will not deal with their citizens for coming to Nigeria or Africa to steal. When I talk about patriotic corruption, some years ago I had the opportunity of going to Dubai. So I was curious and I asked some few persons, come, is there corruption in this country? They say, yes, why? That their top leaders are making so much money, but what they do is that they make sure that they provide the basic need for all their citizens. So the citizens don't care how much they make. So long as you have money, free education, free health, even a wedding, they are supported, everything. So they don't care. What am I trying to say? I'm not promoting corruption, but I think we are missing the point because the more we fight these people, where do they hide their money? All those trading words. They are not in Nigeria, I hope you know. When they steal, they bank them in the US, the UK, Europe, and Switzerland, and all other places. And then they will keep fighting and nothing comes back.
Okay, now on the part of hope, on the stolen wealth, I honestly don't know. Now, I guess maybe you were talking out of experience. You might know, but I 100% I don't know. Now, let's get back to this pump price. How can we bring this pump price down? What solutions, you as an industry player, what will you advise that we don't have a choice? We'll still have to bring government into this. We have to bring players into this. What can they do to bring this down? Because it is telling on businesses and households. What is possible?
I don't know whether you are familiar with timber business. I know it. Those days in Benin, you have few persons who have what they call sawmill, where they produce all these plants and whatever from timber. And there are people who don't have sawmill, but what they do is that they come with these timbers and they enter into negotiation with the owners of the sawmill to say, okay, for every cubic meter that you are able to do for me, this is your own percentage. So now that we are saying, okay, our refineries are not yet ready. Oh, that will take a come. What can you do? We'll supply you crude oil, and then we'll pay you. How much are you going to cost? Charge us for 1 barrel of crude oil you refine, so that the entire derivative from that 1 barrel will go back to Nigeria until our refineries are up and operating again. It's as simple as that. It's a service. We do it. If that is our problem, tell them to let us negotiate for every 1 barrel of crude oil that you are going to help us to refine. How much are you going to charge us for your service? Then when we agree, then everything that is produced from that 1 barrel will be taken away by the same Nigerian government for our people. But all this talk about in Naira, you sell crude oil to Dangote in Naira, you do this. What is the meaning of that? How? This, I want to be hard. You see, I changed my eyeglass. Scam. How do you say
this is like the second time I'm hearing this kind of narrative, but you are making it more very understanding. So if The government can say, okay, good, we have this amount of crude, Dangote refine, we pay, be it in cash or in crude. And the product now goes back to the
Not,
people. Did I get you right?
not in crude. We pay cash. Yes, we pay cash. We do it now.
Back to the people. But now I ask again, since we have a lot and very learned industry people, in quote, why are they not thinking towards that direction?
My brother, you don't know, you don't understand. Did you know a Dangote shouting, a whole powerful man like that, shouting to say, the turbine, the petroleum industry, hey, I never knew they are this powerful. You see, many people know more than myself, but they will never speak out. Either they are benefiting or they don't want to be heard. We know there are great people who serve that NNPC patriotically. They were incorruptible. I mean, the NNPC before this so-called L added to it with the PIA, through the PIA. They are great people, or is it the DPR? Look, I can sit down here, if the president wants, I can nominate people, both from North, East, West, and South, people with track record who serve this nation in NNPC, that NNPC they are talking about that they say is corrupt. That President Obasanjo told us that, oh, even Share rejected taking over NNPC because Share said that NNPC has so much corruption. What are they? Which Share are we talking about? Which Share said that? A Share that is more corrupt, or is it a Total that is more corrupt, or Ajib that is more corrupt than NNPC? You know, the man came and said all those things, and people were just clapping. Nobody is interrogating Obasanjo for that. So that's how we run down ourselves. If some persons are, unfortunately, unpatriotically corrupt, why instead it does not mean that the entire institution of NNPC or whatever it is corrupt. I repeat again, there is massive corruption in the IOCs more than even the NNPC. But have you ever heard that they shut down Shell or Total or Ajib or all those things? No. Instead, whoever is found guilty, the home country will recall you and replace you, and they punish you. They choose to punish you. So not the way we're going.
Let's go back to NNPC. Now, with the prices that have ballooned, because I won't say they've skyrocketed, they've ballooned because we don't know what it's going to be tomorrow. Why do we still have queues?
Well, it's same it's scarcity. Were you not around when in 1994-95 during Abacha? It was even worse now. That one, the fact, the then military head of state had to order a joint task force of armed men, officers and men of the armed forces. It was like war situation because everything was grounded. This one we are still seeing fuel. That one there was no fuel. So these guys, what they have done is that they sat down somewhere, they decided to create artificial scarcity in order to get Nigeria to say, I beg, instead of us queuing for days, so long as it's available, we'll pay whatever they say we should pay. And they think we are fools. We are not fools now. Don't be so now. We are not fools. They create a desperate situation, first of all, to condition our mind to accept that, okay, even if they give us for 1,500, it's better than going to stay all day, no fuel, and everything grounded. And that's how we got to this extent that we are now. Okay?
Point.
But
Can I ask who exactly are these guys?
They should be very careful. It happened in America. They should go and read the history of John Rockefeller. I said these things some years ago on an interview I granted. That was long before this issue of Dangote refinery. I made it clear. I said, you see what they should go and study what happened to John Rockefeller. He did worse. But when it got to a point, the American people stood up and said, enough is enough. And that was how the US now, established the antitrust law. And what is the antitrust law in America? Well, find out. If you want to become too powerful and exploit the system will now have to check
I want to get this. I want to get this from you, if you will oblige. Who exactly are these guys?
You're asking me. Who exactly are who? The people behind it.
Guys that have conspired to make sure that this sector is not working. There is queue right now, and you said, okay, some people have conspired to make sure that there's scarcity. Then they will take the price up, and we can't complain, and we'll go and buy. Who are this group of people?
Wait first. This thing didn't start today, I told you. Even during the military regime, we had the same story. So if you are looking at a particular set of people, they have been like that. But if you are asking me this current one that we are facing now, which is a continuation of what has been happening, the answer is there for you to see. Who are they? The same people that they invite every now and then to presidential villa, or the same management of the so-called NNPCL, NEPROC, NMDPROA, the Dangote, the so-called modular refinery owners. These are them. Then the also and the downstream, the marketers, whether major importers. Those are the people who are just toying with our future. What are you asking again? What are you asking again? They are the ones.
At this point in time, okay, people keep shouting deregulation, deregulation, deregulate upstream, deregulate downstream. This is all rhetorics, English that doesn't mean anything to the market woman. People were shouting resource control up, resource control that. This is nothing but English that the person selling pepper does not understand, and it benefits the person nothing. What can the citizens do to stop this kind of thing continuing?
Wow, we are now in a democracy. And then the National Assembly has the ultimate power. That National Assembly that you see, that is where the power lies, not even in the president. When people talk about the president is powerful, no, 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 you don't understand the constitution. The president of Nigeria is not powerful. By section 143 of the Nigerian constitution, as altered or amended, lawyers would say, the National Assembly has the power to remove the president because of things like this. In case you don't know, this thing happened under then late Okadigo and Gardiner. Those are the two leadership of National Assembly that actually shook the president of Nigeria. As Obasanjo, he saw her. He narrowly escaped. He was to be impeached. He was to be thrown out. I think the House of Rep then had not impeached him. It was the Senate because it had to have concurrence. It was the Senate that later saved him. But since then, we never had a National Assembly that is so courageous. You would have asked me, why do I keep insisting that the president of Nigeria should be the substantive minister of petroleum resources? It's been so controversial. The very respected Nigerian human rights activists and lawyers like Dr. Olisa Bakuba, SAN, Femi Falana, SAN, my friend Sowole, Omoyele, and the rest, they've been like, what's wrong with you, comrade? Why are you doing this? Why would this? I said, look, that is the best thing to happen to this country, because the level of rot in the petroleum sector, nobody as a minister of petroleum resources can face them. Only the person who is the president and commander-in-chief of the armed forces. So with that, such a person, if the person is sincere and patriotic, will be able to destroy them. And if such a president refuses with this enormous
If the
power,
person is sincere
then the National
and
Assembly should
patriotic, the person will
invite
be able to
the
dislodge them.
substantive
And you
minister
also
of
made
petroleum
direct
resources.
mention
My
of the
brother, let me
National
quickly
Assembly.
ask you one question. Let me ask you a question first.
I hope you're
Are
still
you
with
with
us.
me? Uh-oh.
Yeah, Engineer Odafe, I want to say thank you very much for joining SOUQ Pulse. On conversations like this, on issues that are biting, we just don't know when time flies. And we try to hold ourselves in, not to pull up jackets and converse the way it's hitting and the way it's really affecting every single one of us. I want to say thank you very much for coming on SOUQ Pulse today. And I hope I'll call you next time at short notice and you will be there.
The network is so bad.
To everyone out there, remember that you just have Nigeria. If you are born African, then you're blessed. But in this blessing is your responsibility to make sure that the leadership acts right, because you put them there. It's also your responsibility to ask questions and not stop talking. Let's don't forget citizen diplomacy. Let's not forget that if we refuse to get productive, things will not get better. It doesn't get better by praying. When you finish praying, what are you supposed to do? You work. You stand up and you work. If we don't have faith, then of what
Please,
you
just
should
one
do.
more thing before I go.
You all have representatives.
Please, can I just say
It's
one
time
more?
to call them up. It's time to make sure that as you are going through this stress, they feel it. So we call them up. We might not be able to depend on individual businesses, mind you. It doesn't matter how we paint it. It doesn't matter whose business. Dangote is an individual business. So if I have a dozen of Dangote, beautiful. But nobody, be it government, be it agency, be it private, should hold the entire country ransom. We have gone through enough. Let every one of us stand and be counted. So, hey, talk to those representing you and ask questions. Talk to your fellow workers and ask questions. And also look at yourself in the mirror and ask questions. Are you failing us? Thank you very much for being part of SOUQ Pulse today. Remember, be your brother's keeper and have yourself a very beautiful weekend. My name is John Rogers Chuks. Bye.